Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're going to dive into something that's both ancient and, incredibly relevant right now. The deep-rooted connection within Islamic teachings to environmentalism. And this isn't about some new trend, it's about uncovering a sacred trust.
It all kind of starts with this simple, really profound instruction from the Qur'an. But when you think about it, in our age of ecological crisis, what does this ancient call to kindness really mean for us today? Well, the perspective we're exploring suggests this kindness extends way beyond just people. It's meant for all of creation.
So where does this all come from? Well, the core principle is that in Islam, caring for the environment isn't some optional add-on. Nope, it's a fundamental spiritual responsibility. It's a sacred trust that's been placed on all of humanity.
At the very heart of this is the concept of khalīfah. And this one word, vicerency, completely reframes our relationship with the planet. It says we're not owners who can just exploit everything. Instead, we're appointed guardians, trustees, who are responsible for the well-being of the earth.
And look, this isn't something people made up later. It's stated directly right there in the Qur'an. But pay attention to that last part, to see how you would act. That adds this profound layer of accountability. It's basically saying our stewardship is being watched and our actions, they really, truly matter. Okay, so that's the big why. But that brings us to the how. How does a grand spiritual principle like this actually translate into the small choices we're all making every single day?
Well, it starts with the stuff we consume. This verse is a direct command against being wasteful, what's called israf. In a world of fast fashion and massive food waste, this is like a spiritual check on overconsumption. It's urging us to be moderate, not just as a practical tip, but as an act of faith and gratitude.
And this example, wow, it just drives the point home. The guidance from the Prophet Muhammad here is so powerful. Just picture it. You're at a huge, gushing river where water seems totally infinite, yet even there, the command is not to waste. This tells you it's not about how much we have. It's about building the habit of conservation, no matter what.
The Prophet's own life is really the ultimate blueprint. He didn't just talk about these ideas, he lived them. He used a tiny amount of water for ritual washing, he chose to walk to stay humble, and he lived with this profound sense of modesty. This isn't just history, it's a timeless guide for a low-impact life.
So, individual action is powerful, for sure, but Islam also puts a huge emphasis on community. So let's zoom out a bit from our personal ethics and see how they can create a massive collective impact when we all practice them together.
And you can just see how this creates this beautiful ripple effect, right? Recycling in one home can scale up to a mosque-led neighborhood cleanup. Teaching a kid to be thankful for a single flower can grow into a vibrant community garden. These things become shared acts of worship, and they strengthen both the community's faith and the local ecosystem.
And this is all tied back to a core idea, this famous saying, cleanliness is part of faith. It's understood to mean so much more than just personal hygiene. It's about maintaining the purity and health of our shared spaces, our streets, our parks, our planet, as a direct reflection of our inner faith.
This journey from our personal habits to community projects, it naturally leads to one final stage, public advocacy, taking a collective stand for environmental justice.
This is where the whole idea of activism gets reframed. The Islamic principle of amr bil ma'ruf, which means commanding what is good, it suggests that speaking out against ecological harm isn't just a political choice. It's actually considered a religious duty to actively work to set things right.
And there are so many ways to raise that voice. This could mean supporting dedicated Islamic environmental groups or just sharing these powerful teachings on your own social media to inspire other people. Or it could mean joining with people of all faiths to advocate for policies that protect the home that we all share. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from the core principle of stewardship all the way to this call for advocacy. Now, the final step is to bring it all home and ask, what does this mean for you? Let's make this personal.
First, let's start small and immediate. Just look at your daily life. Is there one habit related to what you buy, how you get around, or the energy you use that you could shift toward a more mindful practice, maybe starting today?
Okay, next question. Think about your circle of influence. How could you, just through your actions, or maybe some gentle conversations, inspire one other person, a family member, a friend, a neighbor, to join you in making one small positive change?
And finally, let's think about the bigger picture. Is there an opportunity, no matter how small it might seem, for you to use your voice to stand for the health of your local environment?
It's really not a question of ability, but of intention. Because, as we've seen today, this path begins with just a single step, and it's rooted in a sacred trust